Colin, good afternoon. Thank you for joining us here for our DPAA Short Connects. What we're trying to do here is keep the connective material going throughout the world in this time of somewhat certainly challenging and uncertain times. So I thank you for joining us. We've got Colin, who is the CEO of North America for Havas Media, and you run a pretty big ship, a substantive ship. And tell me, you're up in Connecticut today. I'm down here in Westport, and we're using Zoom like probably everybody else is. How are your teams? Are they all working from home across North America? And give us a sense of how they're doing that and how they're communicating.
So everybody across North America is at home, and we are communicating, oddly enough, it has proven to be very easy to do. We were all very reticent about doing it from the get-go. Because we had done this before, some people tried it back in the crisis in 2007, 2008. It didn't seem to work as well. And these services have gotten so much better. And we are connecting every day. I have a management meeting once a week. I meet with the people that work for me individually for a half hour, at least once a week. So we are staying connected. We're having virtual drinks parties. We are having virtual town hall meetings. There's a lot of different communication coming to our employees. There's a lot of work from home do's and don'ts and things of that nature. And so it's proving to be a really efficient and effective period of time for us. And we're surprised by it and very happy about it.
And you've spoken quite eloquently about how you're managing the video and the remote. And you also said how you're building morale for your teams and you're connecting everybody. How about safety? Have you taken certain precautions there to engage the wellness and safety of your teams?
Well, what we're finding is that when people are alone for a long period of time, and a long period of time can be 2 or 3 days, and they can get relatively depressed. And even though you have Zoom, which is amazing, there's still there's a distance to it. Mm-hmm. And when you get into a large, like a virtual town hall that we have 450 people in New York, but we are capped at 300 on a virtual kind of town hall. But for a lot of people, they need that human interaction and that connection. And you have to really watch out and make sure that everybody on your team is touching somebody else virtually so that they don't get depressed. And people, I'm here, I've got, two kids and a wife. And so there's a lot of interactivity, but if you're alone, a lot of times it's not. And so we're trying to get them to wake up at the same time in the morning, not to drink too much at night, and touching base with, don't have a meeting every half hour, have a meeting every hour that's a half hour long. So you've got breaks, and we're trying to do a lot of things. We're still doing virtual, like yoga and meditation and things of that nature to really try to make it feel normal.
One thing that's evidently not consistent today is marketing and ad spend. We know that marketing and media tends to be the first to drop off during challenging economic times, yet we've also seen historically that those brands that cut back too much have a much harder climb to get back. They lose share of voice, they lose share of awareness, share of market. What are you advising your clients at this time to do, and what are they saying? How are they reacting?
Well, I think the first reaction for all clients is stop everything and let's see what's going on. And so the first things that we were doing was audits. What's working, what's not, where are we spending the money? Then it was, what are we committed to? What are we not committed to? What's fluid? What isn't? Et cetera. And that doesn't take that long. I think we had within a week and a half or so, we had a pretty good handle on everything.
Good.
And then it's reaching out to clients and making sure that they understood what was happening in the market, what their kind of, not their rights so much as their options in the market. What do they want to do and how might they want to do that? And maybe they want to delay for the first 3 weeks because for some reason, but maybe come back on. I think news became a very popular place to be because everybody's watching news.
Sure.
I think we were trying to create for a lot of clients other spaces that didn't exist, like daytime.
Right.
For people like you, it's like a much tougher environment in the short term, but pretty clearly, like going into 2020 in November, December, January, it was your year. Like everybody was talking about, like, this is the year for digital out of home. You've got all the connective tissue. You've spent years pulling all these things together, and it really was like everybody in our industry felt it was like the year, which meant a lot of money was going to flow from us to your industry, because it felt like that's where all the consumers were. You could get them in real time. You could get them to make a decision instantly and walk into a store.
Right.
So, I know this must feel very painful for you guys, although it will come back.
Right.
People are going to walk on streets again. They're going to drive their cars again. And so that the beauty is, that it's not long term.
Right.
It's a moment in time. You hope the moment in time is short, but it's a moment in time.
You're right. And
for a lot of our clients, travel clients, casual dining clients that are really hurting right now, those are also going to come back. A lot of them are doing delivery and doing things that are kind of keeping them afloat, and hopefully they can hang on. But those things will come back.
That's good news, and you're right. We were on an incredible momentum with digital out of home. It is amazing, and it's good to hear you echo that. And we believe that all will come back, and maybe hopefully with a vengeance too, because as we're all experiencing this cabin fever, people are going to want to get out to bars, restaurants, stores, Times Square, Piccadilly Circus, all the place where our
taxis, the whole thing.
Right, exactly. So there'll be a pent-up demand and to connect as humans, which is also going to go in our favor.
Right. Plus, I think if they really do put $4,000 in your pocket or whatever it ends up being, that's a big push, an incentive to like open things up. And you don't want to do it too early. You kind of want to do it at a time where you can be outside and can be walking around and shopping, walking down the street or whatever it is. Like, so you have to get the balance right. Otherwise, people will take the money and they'll just put it in the bank.
You're so right about that. You really want that to stimulate the economy, and as opposed to stimulating the mattress or Amazon solely, right?
Right. I mean, it really is interesting because you've got a health crisis on one hand, and you've got to figure out how to do that, and that means you have to separate people. And then if you separate people, then you now have an economic problem because people can't be around together to do things, and you need two different strategies for that. And it kind of feels like everybody wants one strategy.
Exactly.
And it's hard to do both.
Yes, you're absolutely right about that. While the time we're in now, we're trying not to get cabin fever. We're trying to inspire ourselves. You've done a great job in inspiring as a leader your teams and your troops in North America. How are you inspiring yourself? How are you kind of stimulating your own day and keeping it interesting?
Well, my wife has decided to paint the first floor of our house. While this is all happening, with all the windows open, so it's relatively cold.
That'll keep you awake and stimulated.
Right, and so I'm constantly stimulated and freezing half the time. My daughter is in the final throes of college acceptances and decisions. So, I mean, this is like the kind of critical week. So we have a lot going on with that. And I've got a son who you might even hear some of the banging. He's upstairs lifting weights, and so he's trying to stay in shape because a lot of the clubs are closed.
Sure.
Yeah. And we have a kind of green space near us, and I go out for walks with friends and stuff like that. And it has been, it's been really nice. I've enjoyed it so far. I don't want to do it forever, but I've enjoyed it so far.
Right. Colin, it's been an absolute pleasure. Thank you for joining us from your home office in Connecticut. And it's been, like I said, a great pleasure. I'm glad that you're providing great leadership for your teams and that you're a good leader in the advertising business. This is what we need these days, is good leadership. And best of luck with your daughter in college.
Right. Well, thank you. Thanks, Barry. And also a big thank you to you guys, what you're doing in the industry and how you're impacting brands on our behalf as agencies who represent clients. So thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Thank you.